Hello, you're watching BBC World News with me, Tim Wilcox. Our top stories. At least 37 people are killed in a ferry fire in southern Bangladesh. The mother of Dante Wright, accidentally shot dead by a Minnesota police officer, reacts to the manslaughter verdict against his killer.
I kind of let out a yelp because it was built up in the anticipation of what was to come while we were waiting for the last few days.
Japan will not be sending government officials to the Beijing Winter Olympics, but says it is not joining the diplomatic boycott of the Games. The little town of Bethlehem marks Christmas Eve in a year where tourism has been blighted by COVID. These are live pictures from Manger Square. And preparing to launch the space telescope that could transform our understanding of the universe.
This space telescope will help us to look further back in time than ever before, to 13.5 billion years ago, revealing the light from the very first stars to shine.
For all of you watching on PBS and around the globe, a very warm welcome. At least 37 people have been killed after a packed ferry caught fire in southern Bangladesh. It happened near the town of Jalakati. The ferry had sailed from the capital Dhaka and was bound for the southern town of Barguna. Hundreds of passengers were on board. Akbar Hussain from the BBC Bengali service in Dhaka gave us this update.
It's a very tragic accident happened last night because the ferry, it was starting from Dhaka and was going to coastal district Barguna, which is 250 kilometers south of Dhaka. And when the ferry, it was in the middle of the river, it caught fire. And I have spoken to local police officers and rescuers. They have informed me so far they have rescued 37 dead bodies, and many people they are injured and they have been taken to local hospitals. And when the accident to fire broke out, it instantly spread all over the ferry. It is a 3-storied ferry, and many people jumped into the river to save their lives. And local officials say that many people, when they jumped on the river, they cannot swim, they drowned in the river, they recovered the dead body, and many people, they were trapped inside the ferry, so they died. So it's a very tragic incident, and the rescue operation is still going on.
Why are safety standards so bad within the shipping industry there? I mean, has there been any attempt at regulation?
Not visible. We haven't seen anything visible so far because Bangladesh is a country of 170 million people, and more than 30% of the total population, their main transportation is ferry. They travel to the coastal district by ferry. But often we see the safety standards is always ignored. We have seen a lot of ferry accidents in the last 1 decade and hundreds of people died. But each time when any accident happened, the government officials and the department concerned, they assured that the safety standards will be improved. But nothing has been done so far. And people are dying, people are suffering. And the owner of the vessels, they always, prefer to flout the government rules and regulation. They don't care about the government rules and regulations. Suppose this ferry, it was supposed to carry around 300 passengers, but it was carrying more than 500 passengers. So it was also overcrowded ferry. So this is a very pathetic thing that why the safety standards is not being improved here.
Will the local hospitals be able to cope?
Not at all, because this is a rural area where the accident happened. Most of the people there, they received burn injury. So it is not possible for the local hospital to treat the patient efficiently. So though I have spoken to the relatives, victims' relatives, so they told me that, many people, they are not getting the proper treatment. So they must be transported to capital Dhaka city, but it's far away. So it's very difficult for the local hospitals to provide treatment for this kind of patients.
Akbar Hussain reporting from Dhaka. A jury in the US state of Minnesota has found a white former police officer guilty of manslaughter for the fatal shooting of an unarmed black man. Prosecution argued that Kim Potter had shown culpable negligence when she killed Dante Wright during a routine traffic check in April. This report by our North America correspondent David Willis begins with some distressing pictures.